More than 6 months after a Madison County mother of 4 disappeared, an arrest is made in the case of Savannah Spurlock.
23-year-old David Sparks pleaded not guilty just a short time ago in Garrett County District Courts. Kentucky State Police are preparing to hold a press conference about their investigation at any minute now. We will go live to that press conference as soon as it begins. Until then, investigators say Sparks was seen on surveillance video leaving the other bar in Lexington with Savannah Spurlock on January 4th. Yesterday, police say a relative noticed a foul odor coming from the property of Sparks' parents' home on Fall Lick Road in Garrett County. The family member became concerned and notified his attorney. That is what led to a massive police presence at the home last night. And then early this morning, police confirmed they found human remains buried on the property. Sparks, seen here, is charged with tampering with physical evidence and abuse of a corpse. The remains found were sent to Frankfurt for an autopsy. As we said, we'll go to that press conference when it begins. Actually, it is beginning right now. Here we are.
I'm Robert Purdy with the Kentucky State Police, currently serving as a public affairs officer with the Kentucky State Police Richmond Post. With me today are representatives from the KSP Post 7 and the Richmond Police Department. Thank you to everybody who is here in attendance today. We are also streaming this news conference live on the Kentucky State Police Facebook page. The purpose of this news conference is to provide an update on the Garrett County death investigation and how it relates to Richmond PD's missing person investigation. As a member of this community, I'm well aware of the results, of this investigation are incredibly heartbreaking. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of Savannah Spurlock. Over the past 6 months, the family, community, and law enforcement have been in search of answers. These are the facts of the investigation that we can confirm today. The Richmond Police Department was contacted yesterday afternoon in reference to a possible location of human remains behind a residence on Fall Lick Road in Garrett County. As a result of the information that was received, the Richmond Police Department notified the Kentucky State Police. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Kentucky State Police, Richmond Police Department, Garrett County Police Department, Lancaster Police Department, and the FBI responded to the scene and secured the area. A coordinated search of the property was conducted late last night, resulting in the discovery of human remains just before midnight. The recovered body was removed from the scene and taken to the State Medical Examiner's office in Frankfurt for an autopsy and identification. As a result of the autopsy, we can now confirm that the remains are those of Savannah Spurlock, who went missing on January 5th after leaving a Lexington bar with 3 individuals. Initially, Savannah was reported as a missing person to the Richmond Police Department, who have been following up on multiple tips and leads about her disappearance over the past 6 months. Multiple searches by Richmond Police Department, KSP, local police agencies, and volunteers have occurred throughout Garrett County and central Kentucky. As part of the initial investigation by Richmond Police Department, the 3 men last seen with Savannah Spurlock were identified and interviewed, one of which was David Sparks. The investigation indicates that Savannah Spurlock was seen at the residence of David Sparks during the morning hours of January the 5th. As a result of the ongoing investigation, David Sparks, 23 years old, of Lancaster, Kentucky, was arrested early this morning in connection to the recovery of Savannah Spurlock's body. He was lodged at the Madison County Detention Center charged with tampering with physical evidence and abuse of a corpse, and has since been taken to the Lincoln County Regional Detention Center. Over the coming days, detectives will continue their investigation into what led to the death and disappearance of Savannah Spurlock. At this time, additional information may be released. At this time, I'd be happy to open the floor up for a few questions. As a result of the autopsy, we are still waiting on the cause of death. That'll come back from the medical examiner's office whenever they complete their discovery.
Is it the same address that was initially searched about 6 months ago?
About 4 months ago, I believe in February, law enforcement responded to the location on Fall Lick Road in Garrett County, at which time a search was done. The property is owned by some of Mr. Sparks' family members.
And during that search, no body was found?
During that search, no body was found. That's correct.
The body may have been brought back to that property?
There's a lot of things that we're going to be continuing to look at in the coming days and weeks as part of the ongoing investigation, trying to determine when the body may have been placed there.
Can you briefly explain the nature of the charges, why he was charged with what he was?
Yeah, as a result of the ongoing investigation, the information that we had, based upon her location, where she was located, we felt that the abuse of the corpse and tampering with physical evidence was a charge that we could, actually charge him with this morning.
What's the status of the two other men that were seen with that?
As far as the other two individuals, there haven't been any charges at this time, so I don't want to get into any kind of speculation about what may happen.
Do you expect any charges going forward?
I don't know of any charges moving forward. After the discovery of the body early this morning and late last night, we're really still pretty early into this investigation. Over the coming days and weeks, there's going to be a lot of questions that we still have to answer.
You guys were running the property last night on the call of bad odor. Do you believe that she was alive previous to the last 24 hours?
No, I don't believe that there's any indication that she was placed there recently. I think that the odor is what kind of indicated, and that's what the information that we received yesterday, that's what led us there.
What do you mean she was found in an unnatural position?
What do you mean?
The body was found in an unnatural position.
I haven't seen the unnatural position. I think that the location and manner of how the body was recovered gives us a lot of suspicion about what may have happened.
Can you talk about the other items that were discovered?
As far as the specific items that were recovered, all of that is sensitive to this investigation. Those are specific details that we won't be able to release and should be coming out in court proceedings.
Did the Sparks parents tell you how they feel, how they do it?
I have not spoke to the Sparks family personally, and so I think that we have been in contact and communication with them. As you can imagine, there's a lot of heartbreak in every aspect of this investigation. Well,
You guys haven't charged him with murder. Do you see that as a possibility in the future?
You know, we're going to allow our detectives to continue their investigation, to try to determine exactly what happened moving forward.
Robert, can you talk a little bit about what's the next step in this investigation, and talk a little bit about, I think you said you don't know the cause and manner of death, but what's the process of determining that?
So the autopsy today, those reports are going to take a little while to come back from the state medical examiner's office. During the coming days, detectives are going to continue to follow up on tips, leads, interview people to try to determine and paint a better picture about what may have actually happened.
Can you briefly explain a scenario where, investigators and doctors were out there 4 months ago, but yet a body was not found, and here we are?
Getting into, why we didn't see it 4 months ago, it would be complete speculation as far as moving forward with that. So I'd hate to speculate and give false information. Okay. Well, that'll conclude today's interview. We thank you for being here today, and we do ask that you respect the privacy of the family during this very difficult time. Thank you all very much.
Again, you've been listening to the KSP press conference discussing the remains that were found that are those of Savannah Spurlock, that is the mother of four, who was found last night, early this morning in Garrett County. And of course, the suspect, David Sparks, has been taken into custody in relation to that.